Can anyone here raise their hand today if they know their CBC level this week? Anyone? All right, what about your iron level? Anyone know their iron levels this week? Actually, why do those even matter? Oh, one person. All right. Healthcare conference, we got one person. So this shows the problem we have today with the way we view our personal health. There's no easy way to track your health. And if you can't track your health, how can you manage it? This problem is dangerous enough for healthy people like you and me. But imagine the people that could really need this information. I'm talking about Michael Morris. Michael Morris is one of my neighbors in San Francisco, and he's a current cancer patient. He gets chemotherapy done at Stanford Medicine, gets some of the best treatment in the world. But Michael does not know how his treatment is affecting his health on a daily level, on a weekly level. It creates a lot of complications for him because sometimes he can go in for chemotherapy treatment, which is a 3 to 5 hour process. And at that whole time, when he's in a sick, grueling state, he realizes that his white blood cell count is either too low or his toxicity levels are too high. And this is a real pain point for him. This is a dangerous problem. And this is where the InnaMed story begins. At InnaMed, we've created a portable blood testing device called the Health Scale that with a single finger prick will tell you what your major health indicators are and what they mean to you. That means for Michael, he can now understand how his personal health is being affected. That means for Michael, he will now only get chemotherapy treatments when he knows his white blood cell count is high enough. And this could completely eliminate treatments altogether. It's like what Steven said at Anthem, when you have to look at patients who will push the boundaries for insurers. This improves his life. And this is why Michael Morris is one of our customers. And this is why Dr. Baldeep Singh at Stanford Medicine is one of our main advisors today. Because when you look at the care continuum, it's about going beyond therapeutics and looking about the quality of life for someone. That's what we're doing with the InnaMed device by empowering a generation of people to understand and control their personal health. So let's see what we've done today. We have a device that's around 90% accurate across our analytes. We've won multiple international awards, and we have multiple partnerships with entities like Stanford University and most recently NASA after winning their Technological Innovation Award. And I'm excited to say that this week we just started our program at Y Combinator as well. So when you see what do we have to do from here, the next slide will show a really complicated regulatory approval process slide. The main thing you need to know from this slide is that we understand the steps it'll take to get regulatory approval. It's one of our strengths through the mentorships that we have and through the people helping us out here. We know how to get this to commercialization, and we know how to get this in the hands of people. We'd love to talk more about this in Q&A. So when you get to that commercialization stage and you start selling this device, we're going to lease this device for around $180 per year, and we're going to make most of our margins off the sales of each disposable testing card every time you use it. We make money when people find this as a valuable part of their life. Long term, we see this device as something that is for your family for many different types of conditions. I was just talking to someone the other day who got a kidney transplant and how now has to travel to get a blood test every single week, right? So this is a $23 billion market. This market is your friends. This market is your family. This market matters. And that's why we're here today. That's how our team formed. I'm Ronald. I was most recently an MBA at Wharton. I've worked with healthcare consulting, a lot of clients like Eli Lilly, J&J, and Anthem. Our chief science officer, Anoop, over there was a PhD at UCLA, very smart guy. And our CEO, Ishwar, is a biomedical engineer from Penn as well. And together, we know the future of personalized care is within our reach. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right.
Oh, I give it.
Okay. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. You gave actually a leading thing for me to ask you about clinical trials. So I'm going to ask you about clinical trials. When is this planned, and when is it going to happen? And what are you going to be testing?
Yeah. So for our product development timeline, clinical trials in particular will really depend on our funding status. So right now we have multiple analytes that are, as you said, 90% accurate. We're going to be working during these next 3 months to be getting those analytes to clinical levels and then start our clinical trials. We already have partnerships with the Colorado Permanente Medical Group, which is physicians within Kaiser, as well as a partnership with Stanford Medicine for running these trials.
And could you tell us a bit more about how your device works with, the electrodes and the patents that you've got pending or even submitted?
Yeah, so I can go in somewhat detail. So we're using electroimmunochemistry, which is a type of science which traditionally has been used more in spaces like environmental monitoring. But what we're doing is we're modifying that technology to be used in the science space. We're also using microfluidics for allowing accurate measurements, but also painless measurements by not drawing as much blood as a typical venous straw. I can't go into too much detail beyond that, but we do have patents on both the testing card as well as the full device process.
Okay. Just finally, Theranos, was that a hindrance or a help?
Definitely a hindrance. Yeah, not only to us, but to the people who we care about. People who we're trying to help. Giving inaccurate results is something you would never want to have happen, and so we're making sure we do this right, and we understand it's a longer timeline, to make sure, and that's why you saw our approval, FDA approval is one of our strengths, because we know if we do this right, it can impact a lot of people's lives.
Thank you very much.
All right.